Hello, I'm John Eldridge, and welcome to the Ransomed Heart audio podcast. For more information on Ransomed Heart Ministries, our resources and events, please visit us online at www.ransomedheart.com.
I am having a good time. I am with one of my great friends, Stasi Eldridge, and we're talking about
becoming myself. I'm so sorry.
You're quick on the
draw.
There
was a pause.
Stasi's new book. And Stasi, I read through the book, highlighted so much of it. And one of the highlighted chapters is from chapter 3, and that's titled The Landscape of Our Lives. And I read this and couldn't help but think that every man needs to at least, if nothing else, read chapter 3. Now, I'd recommend he reads the whole book, but let me just read just one of your sentences and throw it to you.
Okay.
Yesterday morning, I wanted to buy a puppy. This afternoon, I wondered how many years I would get for homicide.
I'm just nodding.
The mystery of hormones, the 4 seasons, life in a month. I just found myself mouth open, just reading and enjoying and going, it's so good to hear about this.
It's really important. Chapter 3 is the landscape of our lives. I talk about the external landscape, but first I talk about the internal landscape. And it is really important for us as women and for the men who live with us to understand what is going on inside of our bodies, because hormones schmormones, man. I mean, we want to make peace with them, and the way to do that is to understand them. What is going on? The cycles that go on in a woman's body are pretty miraculous, and I really love that there are 4 weeks to a woman's cycle, just as there are 4 seasons in nature, and there are 4 seasons to a woman's life. So it's really good to find out, well, what's going on, and to tune into your body. And I can just feel the women even now going, I know where I'm at right now. It's not a question. But to know what's going on in our bodies and how that affects us physically, emotionally, and spiritually, because it does.
And as a woman understands, now I'm way out here, Stasi, but as a woman understands what's going on in her body, where does that hopefully take her? I mean, what's the fruit or the end of that? Where does that?
Well, the first place it takes her is not thinking that she's crazy, right? I mean, and not just feeling like I'm trapped. I thought I was doing so much better. I was doing so much better last week. I was believing the Bible. I was knowing I was loved. And then this morning, I don't know anything. Mm-hmm. Well, darling, there's a reason for that, and you're not nuts. And yes, life is hard, and it does throw us curves all the time. But there is a lot of change going on inside of our bodies pretty constantly. As hormone levels raise and level off and then fall, huge shifts are happening. So when we understand, when we're aware of what is happening with ourselves and with our bodies, then we can be more kind to ourselves, attentive, give ourselves what we need, and also just offer mercy to those around us and to ourselves. Like, know what we need. You know, this is not the time perhaps to be planning an event. Here's something I've learned, Craig. In my stellar conquer the world week, when I'm just flying high as a woman, I want to throw a party. I want to have everybody over and let's share things. You know, I'm like, just, yes. Well, and I do that. And then I make the arrangements, invite the people. Well, then it's 2 weeks later
when the party is.
Right.
Yeah.
And they start coming. I don't want them coming over to my house anymore. I can't tell you how many parties I've actually started inside my bedroom, hiding behind my bed, on my knees, praying for Jesus to give me himself to love people. And it's not that I don't love them anymore. I do. But I'm in a lower place emotionally and physically, and I need to learn my own rhythm so that I can make decisions about my life more wisely.
And give yourself, as you said, kindness and grace.
Exactly. Permission to take that bubble bath. just, yes, unplug the phone for a couple of days. There are a couple of days for most women every month when she would be better off, and oftentimes everyone around her would be better off if she just pulled back for a little while. And oftentimes we can't do that because the children still need tending, with the work projects still need pushing through. Yet she can know where she's at, and she can give herself the space and the rest that she needs when she can get it.
And beyond a woman offering herself kindness and grace, God being in these seasons as well, and God coming and offering.
Oh, absolutely.
Presence.
Yes. And here's something that's really important, Craig, and for every woman. We don't want to curse our bodies. We want to bless them. And so often, if we're PMSing or if we're having our period and it's painful, or we get caught in a situation of embarrassment due to our menstruation or something, we can often really hate that we're a woman or say very negative things about having a period. And there's an effect there, actually. What comes out of our mouth, it matters. And it's such a good step to begin thanking God for our femininity, thanking God for our periods, if we're in the season of life when we're having them, thanking Him for our hormones, blessing them by faith in the name of Jesus. It's actually a really powerful and good thing to do.
You mentioned, Stacey, that a woman can actually hate herself or hate her body. And in this chapter, you just talk about the kind of the special hatred that women have, that they can heap on themselves and that others direct towards them as well.
Yes. Flowing from the internal landscape of a woman's life to looking at the external landscape, it's important to name misogyny, which is the hatred of women, which is fierce and has played out in the story of every woman's life, although we are often so slow to recognize it because it seems normal. But the way it expresses itself, hatred of women, and as varied as pornography to sex trafficking to physical abuse to the hatred that a woman feels for her own body.
Yes.
To the comparison that a woman does when we walk into the room and without even knowing or paying attention that we're doing it, layering ourselves in the hierarchy of beauty in the room. Like, we just do this. We're our own worst critics, and we can be very harsh. So hatred of ourselves or a diminishment of our bodies or their functions or our appearance or our hips or our breast size, all of it can feed into a self-loathing that just perpetuates all around us.
Yeah. And Stacey, what do you say to the men listening or to the women listening in terms of those of us who are going, wow, that's me, when my wife enters that period and where she's changing? It's just so easy to go to distancing myself from her or in some ways just being angry at the changes I see her going. I just want stability. I just want to wake up each morning and be dealing with the same person.
Wouldn't that be nice? And I understand the desire. It's not going to happen, but I understand the desire. Okay, there's a theme. There's the core aspects about a woman of who she is and what she carries, the way she bears the image of God. That is not going to change. But all of us, men included, wake up every morning with a new need for God. And this is one area where we need Him desperately, and so do the men in our lives. So I will tell you that something that really helps me as a wife is John being steady and constant in the face of my fluctuations. Like him being able to look at me with a smile and say, "You're beautiful."
Wait, you just turned that on me.
I did.
I'm looking for her to be steady and the same person. And what you
I'm
say
just saying.
she needs me to be steady,
Yes,
the same person.
She does. She really does. And to keep your sense of humor, really, to have a lightheartedness about it is so helpful. Like, John will just... Yes, he has been known to fall on the floor laughing when something so snarky or opinionated or abrasive just, okay, I'll tell you what happened. 2 days ago, he's on the back porch, and I go, John, is that a new hat? And he says, yeah, do you like it? And I went, yeah, I don't know yet. And he just looked up to the sky and said, God, help me with this new wife I have. Okay, it's funny, but it's true because, 10 years ago, I think I was a little nicer, a little bit more sensitive, that I might have just said, yeah, I really like it, honey, instead of, the jury's out, hon, not sure. But the sense of humor and the truth that he does have a new wife. I have a new husband. God is making us new all the time. So yes, the core things stay the same, but we fluctuate. John knows when I was going to be having my period before I did. The boys knew before I did. And I would be surprised, but they would be playing outside intentionally, not coming in. So if you know, you are better equipped to handle the truth with gentleness, with humor, with kindness. And no, it's not going to last. She's going to come around again. Tulips will burst forth once again, actually pretty soon.
Mm-hmm. What strikes me about what you're saying is, once again, it's just really simple that inviting Jesus into the realities of our life, just owning the realities, facing them, but looking for Christ to give us a love, a patience, a strength that both a woman needs towards her own cycle, life, body, and a man needs towards his woman as well as himself.
Yes, it's essential. And the really fabulous news is that more is available, more of his strength, more of his grace, his love to fill us, to love others. It's really true that we have to love ourselves. The way we treat our hearts is the way we will treat other people's. It just happens. So the invitation of God is to invite him into the daily realities. He's right there. You might as well invite him in anyway. It's going to go better for all of us. He's in the grocery store. He's up in the middle of the night. He's right there, available and wanting to share this life with us, wanting to give us his resources to live the life we're called to live. We can't do it on our own, but we're not on our own.
So good. If you want more of this, go get Stacy's book, Becoming Myself, Embracing God's Dream of You. And that's available now at all bookstores. So
run to your nearest bookstore.
And with the book, you can get the study guide for personal or group use. And if you want to hear more or get to know Stacy and what she has to say, check out Stacy's Facebook page and come to ransomheart.com for more information and resources. And do pick up Stacy's book, Becoming Myself, Embracing God's Dream of You.
I think that was great.
The outtakes are always the hardest for me.